Developed and published by the astronauts, it's the Vanishing of Ethan Carter. What you're currently seeing is the PlayStation 4 version of the game, originally released on PC in 2014 and running on Unreal Engine 3. The PlayStation 4 re-release of the game, released in mid-2015, came with a few new features, including now running on the Unreal Engine 4, with a few new graphical improvements and minor gameplay tweaks. The Unreal Engine 4 version, however, was re-released as the Redux version later in the year on PC. In The Vanishing of Ethan Carter, you play as the famous paranormal investigator, Paul Prospero. Set in the year 1973, you receive a fan letter from a young boy named Ethan Carter, leading him to the quiet town of Red Creek Valley.
Ethan Carter I didn't know, but he knew who I was. When the police won't help you and the priests don't believe you, you call on Paul Prospero. You call on me.
And to keep things obviously spoiler-free, you begin your search for Ethan Carter. Gameplay-wise, The Vanishing of Ethan Carter is your standard single-player narrative-driven adventure game. You explore the environments in search of clues to understand the story, solve a number of different variety of puzzles to continue the progression of the game. However, the puzzles themselves can be solved in any order you wish, and like the game says at the start, it certainly won't hold your hand through it. But is it any good? Let's find out with The Good. Now, for any good adventure game, obviously, it has to have a good narrative and structure going for it, and thankfully, The Vanishing of Ethan Carter nails that. The game fully expects of you to explore the environments meticulously as you search for clues to find out what exactly happened in this town, and to Ethan Carter himself. The story is primarily told through a number of different ways. Some sequences by the player character himself as he self-narrates different events.
I could feel two kinds of darkness here in Red Creek Valley. The first you walked into, and with any luck, walked out of. But the other darkness was deeper, stickier, unknowable, and it wanted me to leave.
The story is also told as well through different murder investigations as you piece together what took place, by sorting the events into chronological order, to also a number of different stories and items you'll discover around the environment, usually in the form of bits of newspapers or stories you'll find, to the puzzles themselves that you'll have to solve around the environment that also have lots of interesting mechanics in solving them. From piecing together different items used in the murder to then also properly placing each of them chronologically in order of the murder together to play it out correctly. To some incredibly mind-bending puzzles that I won't spoil, considering it's the core aspect of the gameplay itself, and also includes a lot of the story elements as well. But when they say the game won't hold your hand, it certainly won't, and trust me when I say this, you'll be spending plenty of time with these puzzles. But now let's discuss the bad. Honestly, I have very little to talk about here. The Vanishing of Ethan Carter as an adventure game is one of the best adventure games I've personally played in years. Probably the only issue I have with it does involve some spoilers, but I'll simply say this. It has a possible jump scare segment in the game later on that I didn't really care for too much and felt was in poor taste. Not to mention a fairly monotonous and annoying puzzle to go along with it. And on another note, some people were apparently upset or confused with the ending of the game. I personally don't share this opinion and I thought it was brilliant. But I'll let you, the viewer, be the judge of that, and you really shouldn't skip on the chance to play and experience this game. But now let's discuss the ugly, where we discuss the graphics, soundtrack, technical aspects, and general presentation of the game. Now, this is quite possibly the best looking game I've played to date, and easily up there as contender in my opinion as the best looking PlayStation 4 game out there so far. Everything from the stunning detail in the environments, thanks to a type of texture mapping known as photogrammetry, which makes the texture work itself the closest thing to photorealistic I've ever seen in a video game to date. The game is also running on Unreal Engine 4, and the lighting as well is absolutely incredible. The PlayStation 4 version includes the ability to adjust your FOV, and even unlock the frame rate as well, something very few console games include that I wish would become the norm for major releases on consoles. The only real nitpick I honestly have with the visuals is the water reflections aren't all that incredible, as well as the odd weird graphical hiccup I stumbled on randomly. And the anti-aliasing isn't up to snuff compared to the PC version of the game, obviously. As for the soundtrack side of things, it's extremely well done and sets the mood perfectly from each segment of the game. Playing this in a surround sound setup or with a decent pair of headphones during the mine section in particular really adds to the atmosphere and sounded brilliant once the bass kicked in. At the end of the day, if you're interested in adventure or puzzle-solving games or just need something to quickly play through, I highly recommend you check out The Vanishing of Ethan Carter if you get the chance to. The atmosphere and story is incredibly well done, and it's a graphical marvel and joy to look at and experience. But now, it's time for the rating.